film. Yeah, there we go. Rolling.
Rolling.
Actually, it's going to go down because Sam's going to be.
That's right.
We definitely have a line going. This is good.
All right. Checkity check. Yeah, look. We got sound waves. I believe we're ready to go. Can I get a thumbs up from everybody if you're ready to be interviewed? Excellent. Got a thumbs up from Chris behind the camera too. Good. I'm Sam Irvin. This show is Asheville Notes, and today we've got Life Like Water. And I'm going to ask you the reporter's questions.
Okay.
Yes. First of all, what is your band? Tell me a little bit about this project, and let's just hop right into putting labels on it. I know artists really love to put it in a box.
Yeah.
Define.
Well, this project started when I first moved here. I don't know. 10 years ago, I started writing some of the music that became Life Like Water. And I was highly influenced by kind of Appalachian folk, but also a lot of different music from around the world. Largely North Africa, stuff through the Middle East. And then, yeah, kind of just pulling influences in different styles. And then, I don't know, maybe 3 years later, I met Charles. We had a fiddle player at the time, Megan, who played with us for a number of years. And then Charles came along, and suddenly it wasn't a string band vibe anymore. And it got groovy and funky. And yeah. Then all of a sudden, meet Jackson and meet Ian and bring them in. And the whole vibe is really kind of shifted now.
That's right. And you are David.
I am David.
Yes,
indeed.
We got the names out there.
Yeah.
Guitar, vocal, songwriter, percussionist. We've got pedal steel and stand-up bass on this particular track. Is that what everybody's playing on any Life Like Water?
No, there's a lot of different things happening. I'm either playing electric or acoustic or ngoni, African gourd harp, or even occasionally gourd banjo.
Yeah, there's some calabash. It's a West African gourd that I'll play that wasn't here today. And then also, though, I did have the doumbek, which is a Middle Eastern goblet drum. Wasn't played, but was on the setup.
Yeah, besides the pedal steel, my other instrument would be the dobro, or the resophonic guitar. Another slide guitar.
Very cool.
Fewer strings and a different tuning. So a different sound. But, when David will jump to the banjo, we'll kind of jump instruments together largely, throughout the set.
The dobro sounds more like a traditional guitar.
Kind of. It's got
fills that space a little bit more.
It's 6 strings. It's the same scale length, but it's got what looks like a hubcap in the middle. The resonator.
Right
in the center. So you got to play it in your lap with the big bar, in your hand. So similar but different.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I'll double on electric bass and play a 5-string and get some different sounds, different tones, different attack.
Definitely. Is there anything in particular, like what are you looking for when you jump to that electric bass?
More sustain. It's nice to be able to cut through the mix a little bit more. Less of a workout. But yeah, the sustain and the presence is kind of my main draw to switching it up there.
Okay, cool. Your stand-up bass that you brought today and that you work with, I guess, often, frequently, consistently, constantly,
For the most part,
has gut strings, and I think that's really cool and interesting.
Yeah, the gut strings are nice. They're easy on the fingers. When I first started playing upright, I've been playing electric bass for a lot of years, but it's like a huge adjustment It feels like a totally different animal. And when I was getting used to it and playing steel strings, I would just get these blood blisters on my fingers that were atrocious.
That's painful.
But yeah, and with the gut strings, they're much lower tension. They're easier on the hands. And, since I've developed a technique over the years and learned how to not play so hard and not play through my skin.
Yeah. Is it easier to end up sounding like the Korn bassist,
It's easy to sound bad. It's really, work at it. It's really easy to sound bad. Sure. Yeah. Always trying to focus on accuracy and clarity, and there are no frets, so you have the advantage of being, if you find yourself on the wrong note, you can typically slide into it, and if you do it the right way, you can play it off like you didn't even make a mistake. That's right.
Yeah, and it's a really unique combination of instruments, I feel like. And I want to hop back to like your influences, the genres, the folky nature of it, these like frequent refrains is really nice. There's like a catchiness to it, but I definitely hesitate to use the word pop at all, because it pops. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the syncopation of these repeating guitar parts, I hear that Middle Eastern bit. I didn't put my finger on it until you mentioned it just now.
Yeah, I mean it's the in my mind. Maybe it doesn't always sync up, but like I used to play more bluegrass and old time music. I still do, but not with this project. And a lot of the old fiddle tunes having the similar refrains and singing the melody, but that also happens a lot in Middle Eastern and various areas throughout Africa, where it's like you're playing this melody, but then you're singing with it as well. And yeah, to me, it's like a conversation. And a lot of the time when I'm writing this stuff, I think about it like a Japanese haiku or something, where it's like kind of paring it down to like the essence of something and capturing it in just a few words, a few sentences or phrases. And yeah, I think if it's done right, it's really cool. It's catchy, it stays in your mind, and you can kind of elaborate on it. But yeah.
I was listening to it and thinking about the questions I was going to ask in the interview. And I did think about that simplicity, and I write like overly complex stuff and write myself down into a hole, and it's impossible to achieve that simplicity, but still have the fullness. That's the tricky balance. That's the dream, right?
Yeah. I think it really, like at this point, I'm writing a lot of these melodies to play with bandmates, and to like what I was playing on the guitar wouldn't be that interesting for an entire song if it wasn't for having cool layered drums and bass and then the pedal steel. And yeah, at least in my mind, I don't know.
Yeah, the rolls are really filled out here. Bass holding it down below, and the sweetening of the pedal steel is morphing throughout. And so you get different iterations with every repetition.
Yeah.
In this like call and response. The back and forth of the call and response is nice too. Almost for every line you have like the instrumental response to it. Again, very balanced.
Yeah.
And I want to ask about the percussion. How did you because I do feel like thinking Middle Eastern, like Moroccan kind of guitar parts repeat like this, and drum parts like kind of follow that syncopated rhythm. How do you formulate that kind of stuff, and what kind of background do you have? Where else do you play? I think I talked to everybody else about playing a zillion gigs a year. Are you also doing that?
Yeah, so it's a dad band. So I mean, we definitely dog dad or kids, and so we definitely play as much as we can. I play in some other groups and just study world percussion. I like to say I was a dancer first for like 15 years. So that like little saucy thing that makes people want to move, that's kind of like where I start from. I just want it to work from the inside out. And but yeah, I've studied in town with River Gregarian, and he's got great source of knowledge for Middle Eastern rhythms and percussion, and studied with some West African teachers in town. And it's just fun to bring all those influences in. And the stuff David writes, it just seems to be really organic to come up with parts together.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty impressive. You're participating in this balance in the call and response. At least on this particular tune, I'm hearing, you're bringing that cymbal in and out to bring in more and more space. And it's almost like you're following the syncopated guitar part, but leaving out certain notes, achieving even more syncopation. Loving the inversions I'm hearing in the bass too, not always keeping the root the whole time. And the pedal steel is trippy. It just adds the dreamy element.
Cool.
All right, any more for what? Moving on from what, also to who? We did that as well already. We know who you all are. Where? We're in Asheville, but how long have you been here? Where are you from? Where do you guys play? Where do you practice? Where do you feel most inspired? Anywhere thoughts to share?
I live in Marshall. Been here for Marshall. Been here in the area for about 10 years. I lived in Colorado for a number of years before that. Traveled a bunch. Spent a number of years just hitchhiking around, backpack, just being dirty, gathering stories and inspiration. Originally from Pennsylvania. I write outside a lot, so I'll take my instruments with me hiking and go to a destination and just sit, and a lot of inspiration comes from that. And also just at my house, I will put on something inspiring and just kind of jam, and I've got all kinds of fun pedals and effects and things that bring inspiration. And that's about my story.
What about you, Charles? Let's go down the line.
Yeah, Sam, I'm living in Waynesville and have been there for a number of years. Went to Western Carolina down the road. Grew up on the coast, and when I'm playing, it could be, if I'm lucky here, it's with these fellas, or got a couple other projects in the area that are not as busy but super fun. Maybe some flamenco music or some other. I used to play at Jerusalem Garden a bunch, where they did belly dancing. That was super fun. So some
cool.
of us still get together and play that type of music.
Nice. I love some flamenco guitar.
Yeah. It's wild.
Cool. I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. I've been in Asheville, or I really live in a small community in North Buncombe, just north of Asheville, called Barnardsville. My wife and I have been there for maybe 8 years. But I moved here first in 2006. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time. But growing up, I was just a guitar player, in Greensboro. And I kind of transitioned into more of a student of roots music that led me into some alternate tunings. And I found some really good teachers. And so from the guitar, it went to a dobro, and then a lap steel, and back to dobro, and then pedal steel was kind of the last tuning that I got into. But
is lap steel similar to a pedal steel, just without the pedals?
Yeah, it's much simpler. It's like a 2x4 with strings, in a sense that, it's an open tuning, 6-string, chordal tuning. So it's tuned kind of like a banjo, but yeah, you're moving the bar with picks, and there's more freedom within the limits of the tuning. So I can't get big extensions like I could on a, 10-string or 12-string pedal steel guitar. But I just got attracted to improvisation through roots music, small ensemble improvisation, and then really trying to work on adaptability, versatility, playing different styles, largely instrumental music. We're working with singer-songwriter friends doing original music has kind of been my calling. So yeah, it's just the progression with the guitar and kind of getting into different corners with it. But I still think of myself as a guitar player,
Yeah. it's interesting. As a guitar player, I'm really drawn to what you were doing, and it's like baffling me. You've got so much control, so much like microtonality. It's really interesting.
Yeah, you just practice with a drone, for an hour or something, and working on your ear and your intonation. No frets. So we're all in it together with that.
Yeah. Speaking of no frets, how about you?
Well, I've been in Asheville for just over 4 years, and moved here from Portland, Oregon. Lived there for 7 years, and Vermont before that, which is where I went to school. I went to a little state school up in the woods in northern Vermont. Studied jazz there. Grew up in Connecticut originally, and come from a musical family. Both my parents are pickers and singers, and my brother is a excellent musician as well. Draw inspiration most from playing with people, and a variety of them. My background is mostly in like American roots music, and I love old country music, and have a lot of people that I play with that play kind of different versions of eras from that umbrella. Playing bass and upright particularly has sort of allowed me to stay really busy and play with a lot of people. It's nice to be able to fill up the calendar with bands that, maybe on the surface level to some people they sound the same, but then this band is dramatically different sounding from the other bands that I play with. So it's nice to have a different way to express. And what I like about this band is that I don't really have to focus so much on chord changes and like knowing where those are going to fall. And it's, I can really settle into the grooves, and it's got this modal feel where you can just kind of explore outside of the roots and the fifths. And these guys make it really easy.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I was hearing you explore outside of the roots and the fifths. It's pleasant. Yeah.
There aren't any really. It's just kind of a mash. There's a root.
What else makes Life Like Water different? Earlier you asked are there other bands in town? I said it sounds very Asheville. Yeah. 'Cause there's also a spiritual element. Maybe you hate that word, which also I only have a loose conception of the category of roots music. It kind of feels like country music, but now country, the label is like weirdly blown out. So it's like pre-country music. Is that kind of what we're talking about? Like jazz and
jazz,
Americana,
and blues, and folk, and types of music that came about before recorded music.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Ballads.
Definitely blues and jazz. It's like baseball. Came from America. It's like
the American stuff.
Yeah, which is, again, that's a big umbrella going from Dixieland to...
Right. There's a lot.
I mean, I would think even the meters are roots music to some extent.
Yeah. They didn't even call country music until a long time after.
Yeah, right. It's got that connotation for me. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Jazz and blues especially. But grunge music, don't know. It's not roots, it's branches maybe. Like later history. It's American, but not roots. And the spiritual is another just gigantic term that means whatever, or conscious music or community music. Tell me about the lyrical themes that are happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the word spiritual. It feels a little like, I don't know, soggy.
needs a big asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
I was really trying to disclaim.
And that's like the Asheville thing. I lived in Boulder for a while, and outside of there, and
Read some Rumi.
yeah, I read some Rumi, yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, no, there's definitely like an element of thoughtfulness and like, not that all music doesn't have thoughtfulness, but I definitely take inspiration from kind of a meditative quality. Big part of my life is meditation. I practice regularly. I'm actually leaving here and going to a meditation retreat this weekend.
Nice.
And so that informs a lot of that mentality, just kind of like trying to get out of the head and the cognitive realm and be more in my body and try and write songs that are just earthy and I used to get real serious about writing songs. Like, it's got to have this meaning and it's got to have this flow and it's got to be this thing. And I just don't really feel like that anymore. I have a very particular style, at least I think I do, that when I'm writing a song, I'm like, that doesn't quite work. That word doesn't fit. That what I'm talking about there just isn't right, But when I let go of all that and I kind of let it happen, it always forms itself in a way that is far better than what I was thinking about, or like my intention was to write a song about this thing. So in this spiritual sense, like that's kind of the connection that I would see with it. Just it's a practice, and it's like, it's not just a practice of like being better at music or like being witty. It's more about like being present and being fully engaged with what I'm doing and like really listening. So yeah, that's, as far as spiritual stuff goes, that's what I would say. It's like, it's in there, but sneaky.
Yeah. That's well said. And I think rare to some extent, again, the balance of it, not stepping over to a place that makes me go like, oh, this is coaching me. This song is coaching me at the moment.
That's the thing that I dislike about like conscious music, where it's just like, it's too on the nose. It's like, I mentioned earlier, haiku, like that to me is like, it's such a spiritual practice, not because of like, it's saying something directly about meditating or something. It's usually about everything but the human experience, and it's about letting the focus be away from the self and like maybe in relationship to the greater world or something. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of where it's at for if I get out of my own way, it feels much more meaningful. If that makes sense.
I think so. It's it's a paradox. It's slippery, right? And I'd love to hear from all of you about like, let's move on to when to even find time for music, or 90 gigs in a year. I think a couple of you have said that's pretty prolific, pretty insane. And I think at that level, not every gig is going to be perfect, right? Or like at the same time, you become elite through the experience, but also that preciousness about it falls away with more experience. Do you guys have any commentary about that, about practice schedules or how tight you hold yourself to an idea of articulating some expression that is intentional versus now letting things flow, like you were saying?
Somebody else want to say something?
Yeah, it's really hard to find time to practice. And sometimes it gets harder to practice when I think like I should be picking up my instrument and like practicing through a routine of like, a strict warm-up exercise, and then like going through scales and modes and having like this rigid kind of disciplined session where like you make yourself work for it, and that can make me resistant to wanting to pick it up. And then the best time to do it is like when I have free time, the instrument's already out of its case, because sometimes that can be a barrier too. But then just like picking it up and flowing, and especially with the upright, it's like every time I pick it up, I kind of have to learn how to play it again. Just like figure out where all those notes are, because there's nothing to tell you where. You just kind of have to hear it, and then I just like to pick it up and see what comes out and try to make that be in tune. And that's when the stakes are low, and you get to just like not follow any rules and just try and find something that sounds good. And if you can latch onto something and develop an idea from there and turn it into something great, and if not, just keep flowing and playing. But yeah, it's hard to find the time to do it.
Yeah. Especially being so busy, that solo time. I play a lot of solo classical guitar, which necessitates practicing a lot. I've had a lot of non-musicians recently tell me, like, you know how to play guitar, you don't need to practice anymore. Like, you can let it go. And I'm struggling with it, you know. I like a hardened daily routine, but I'm trying to open up and not be so rigid, like you said.
Yeah.
And just play for fun.
There's got to be a balance with it, I think. Like, three of us have kids, you know, and we all work, and we all play in this band and multiple others, and like life things. And so I know for me, taking extra time, like I wake up at 6 o'clock every day in order to get my things done before I go to work, and then I play a gig, and then, you know, all the stuff. So yeah, I think practice is super important. And I think that if you love it, it doesn't feel like work. You just got to make the time for it. I mean,
Yeah, I would say my experience with that has been definitely finding balance and flow. I got to do drum corps for a year, and that's kind of like you focus on that one thing for 12 hours a day for a year, and it's awesome. And lots of reps and structure, and
You built up some credit.
six people just standing over you, like looking for anything to critique and fix, and it was great. And then also now I find myself just looking for the time to sit down and have like a flow meditation state with it. The things I learn now are a lot more random and spread out across different, you know, styles of music and techniques, and I kind of like it that way because I never know what's gonna influence something else. You know, I might learn a rudiment or a West African thing, and then I'm just throwing things against the wall for different projects I'm in, and all of a sudden something fits like delightfully well that I couldn't have planned. So I kind of like the more randomness to it now. But I think the foundation of like we've all had to take the time to practice and find our voice on our instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could add that a lot of the development through practice, maybe in hindsight, is trying to sharpen the intuition a little bit, you know, because a large part of improvising, this improv music, playing solos largely as a lead player, you know, there's technique. And I look at music, playing an instrument, you could look at it like getting better, you know, in that grand scheme could be either lowering your floor or raising your ceiling, you know, so trying to think of it like I'm learning something new versus I'm trying to, you know, improve something I already know. But in the moment you could...
Well put. That's good.
Yeah, you could just come up with something, like Ian said, that's like, delightfully, how did you put it? A happy accident,
yeah.
you know, essentially, that it could almost seem too simple. But I think there's some psychology that you have to go through with sharpening that intuition to be able to like let it be simple if it needs to be. Because technique can override that decision making a little bit. And you could think, oh, this is only like a subtle movement, you know, or not. It could be a really flashy thing, and it's good to be able to have the tools to kind of react that way, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I've gotten in trouble kind of in my own head thinking about me evolving as a player where I can, what do they call it, resting on your laurels, you know? Like sure. That's like my fear in a way of not evolving, you know, or my intuition not really getting stronger. It's really my goal. I want to be able to just react in a really pure way that has a direction that could go a myriad of different ways, that I'm not tethered to just one idea or one lick or something, you know. Mm. And I think, you know, a big part of that is listening to stuff that instrumentalists that don't play your instrument, you know. You get in that world where you're just kind of, it's good to listen, but I listen to a lot of singers, horn players, drummer conversations I find to be really interesting. So, yeah, it's that universalness, and it's, to me, it's like developing some psychology that gives you some confidence in finding simplicity in things. Because, you know, it's like a lesson to think that's what it should do, but it's like, I could have done that 10 years ago. You know? Sure.
What serves the song, right? Mm-hmm. And like getting a better grasp on context, maybe. And if you're listening to other players, you know, learning whether there are other players in your role, like a lead singer, or like listening to a trumpet where there is no lead singer doing the main thing, mm-hmm. but also learning what the other roles are responsible for so you don't feel like you have to pull all the weight. And there's a lot of different kinds of music and a lot of different contexts. You know, people make music for a lot of different reasons. And I think, you know, watching like a metal dude shred harder than anybody's ever shredded, and, you know, because he's practiced scales for like thousands of hours, is awesome. And writing music that is emotionally supportive to, you know, like communities and in sort of a broad human sense, I think is wonderful too. You know, so that brings me to the next question. Why, you know, why do you guys do music? We've got what, we did what, who, where, when. I mixed them up. Who, what, when, where, why.
We know where we're at. It's all right.
Can I request as a dad to take the lead on this one? Because I will have to go pick up my little boy.
Yeah, man.
Sure, yes.
And that's one
we can wrap it up pretty soon.
Yeah, I would say that's one reason I do those for my little guy. I think about this a lot as a dad. Like, you know, it takes time. There's times where I need to be away from him to do this, and that can be hard. And I also like that it feels like a really primal part of myself, like especially with drums, just like it feels very alive when I'm super in it. And so kind of think about when I'm older and my son, as he becomes more aware, like I want the wild parts of me to still be fully present for him to witness. I don't want to kind of have shrunken into whatever job I'm supposed to be doing to make however much money I'm supposed to be making. It feels like I want my cup to be nice and full, so I can kind of, feels like really important to have him see that and bear witness to that.
Mm. Absolutely. Yeah, pass down the human. That's cool. Different roles for a dad as well.
Yeah, and he, you know, he gets to, I'm excited. He's going to be older, so him being able to come out to shows and, you know, we drum together at home. But yeah, just that like primal, like we're all whole, it's already here, just bringing it out.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to leave, but yeah.
That's okay. Good note to go out on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I was like, I want to say something on this one before I go.
I was going to suggest it, actually, because I was looking at your clock.
Yeah.
Thanks for being
much,
here,
brother. Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
We'll talk soon for sure.
Sir, yes, sir. Guys, be well.
You just dropped the phone.
Yeah,
Thank
pleasure,
you,
brother.
Great passes.
Yeah.
All right, some whys, and maybe wrap in some hows if you want.
Whoa.
Yeah, similarly, yeah, like I said, my family is pretty musical, and I've been around it my whole life, and yeah, it's been a great way for my family to connect. We actually just had our first performance as like a family unit, like official performance in October, and it was pretty funny to start a band with your immediate family. It's a funny way to bring the family dynamic into and band dynamics all together into one. But no, it went great, and yeah, it's been our kind of our way to really express ourselves, and then I've carried that through with friendships and chosen family along the way too.
Mm-hmm. Connecting with others through music.
Yep.
Yeah. It's nice to not always have to find words for everything.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
consider myself to have the gift of gab, so it's nice to express myself that way instead.
You wouldn't expect.
No,
You seem pretty charismatic to me.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, why? I don't want to say what else would I do. But, I mean, what
That's a
else would
very
I do?
valid reason. Yeah. Or the conditioning
Yeah,
over
I'm trying to go
time.
back to my childhood. I think my dad, I can remember he had a Gibson J50 guitar that he didn't play very often, but I remember on maybe every other Sunday he would like restring it in the living room, with some old English polish, and it would kind of just sit there with these John Pierce strings, and I wasn't allowed to touch it, Just maybe as a 10-year-old, that kind of like, you want what you can't have. Maybe, I don't know what attracted to me, but it was, just like growing up listening to the radio, riding the school bus, music was an extension of what we were doing. And it's kind of like you get a guitar or a drum set or whatever, and it's like a basketball goal in your driveway, and you can kind of get good at it. But when you join a team, when I was in my first middle school band, it just like changed my whole dynamic of my social life and my free time. So, it was what else am I going to do pretty early on for me that, and luckily the people I was with were all kind of that way too. So we all still play music, although they're in New York and other parts of the country. But yeah, it's just trying to create a relationship with music that I just always want to have something I'm working on some capacity. It could be like a thought or a technique or a progression or some sense of harmony where I'm driving and I'm just thinking about even a minutia of like something I don't know yet, that I'm always trying to feel like I'm learning something. And that's kind of the North Star for me, is just keeping that alive. So I have to kind of declutter some stuff in life to make, room for that, because there's a lot of distractions, but
Yeah, a lot of sacrifice to focus on something and enjoy it. It's like an acquired taste, right? Of course, to put work into something and be rewarded from the effort of it is kind of what you're saying, right? That's
it comes in
that's a major goal.
Yeah, but it's like that notion of you don't know what you don't know. Like when you feel that, it's beautiful. That's what I'm.
The mystery.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's so much to music. It's just like an incredibly difficult thing to try to learn from the get-go, that it's just an extension and expression. It's kind of an overused term, but as human beings, that's what we're here for. And so it's just an avenue for me that was the brightest,
Yeah, express it before you depress it or repress it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like all that. My voice is really raw from singing, but I would say I didn't grow up in a musical family at all. Neither of my parents play. My brothers never played. I didn't have any. I grew up like way out in the country in Pennsylvania. And my youth was largely spent being in nature. Lived on this piece of property and out in the woods. But two things, my grandpa had this old guitar that he never played. It had like 3 strings. It was never in tune, but something about it, like I was always drawn to it. And
Man, they got you on that, David. They get you on anything.
Yeah, that's how I learned 3 strings and the truth.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah. But I about 15 or so, like going into middle school, like I had no like understanding of even live music being, it was like a concept. It was like, oh, it's on the radio. Like music, I loved it. I always was deeply into music, but my parents never had like a record collection or like a big stereo. It was like, you listen to music in the car. And I almost never saw live music. It wasn't around, and my parents' family didn't do it, didn't go out and see music. So when I was 14, 15, I got into middle school. I met a couple kids that were, my one buddy was playing bass guitar, and we were all kind of getting into punk rock. And it suddenly hit me that like, oh, you can do this. You can play music. You can make music. It doesn't just have to be what you hear on the radio. And from there, I just got like obsessed. And like, I think music, it really like, as cliche as it sounds, it kind of saved my life because I was going down kind of a dark path, got into a bunch of trouble when I was young, got arrested, all kinds of things. And my parents like freaked out, put me in this like youth group program, and the pastor that was there was a musician. He played guitar and was a songwriter. And that was my first like connection with people, my peers and this guy that were playing, and I just like latched onto it. I was at home, started just hiding out in my room, started playing bass guitar first, listening to Rancid and NoFX and all these old punk bands. And as soon as I had that outlet, it was like a life raft. I just like jumped, I like held to it, and like wasn't trying to be good, wasn't trying to be like technical. I was just trying to express myself. And I wrote music before I ever learned really how to play music, if that makes sense. Just like slamming on the bass guitar. My buddy played drums, and yeah, from that experience, it taught me the like emotional and maybe that like spiritual element of music, that like it's this force of expression and an outlet. And when I finally like later in life really dedicated myself to like understanding music, and I'm still very much in that process, it's become kind of like what Jackson was saying. It's this like, it's so vast and there's so much to it. And there's so many layers to it that when I sink into it and just focus on that alone, like go into it, let the world kind of drift away, it is this like meditative experience that just keeps me going, keeps me wanting more and more and more. And yeah, I don't know exactly why, other than like kind of like what Jackson said too, like what else would I do? Like it keeps me going.
Really?
Like, I mean, we all work jobs and have to make money, and like, God, I have a lot of responsibilities, but music is just, I ask myself all the time, I'm like, why do I love it so much? Like, what is it about? I don't even really understand it, but I follow it because it feels right.
Well, you can do it together, but it's also a very individual, it's a personal thing that you share with people.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
Like music will always just be the feeling you get when you hear good music. You know, it's like that, what you want to be alone with, you know, but to come out of your room and then go hang with your friends and feel that together is like a different thing, but it's also part of why, you know,
intimate.
It's shared and individual. So Some things are like that in life, but music's probably the more emotive one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that, and I love chatting about it with other musicians instead of just being solo in my studio, crunching away, grinding, and turning knobs and
Fun
trying.
too, though.
It is fun, yeah. But really inspiring to hear other perspectives and share. So thank you so much for collaborating, being interviewed, and being recorded. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good time. Good way to spend a day.
Any last thoughts? You have a platform. You can communicate anything to the
subscribe.
infinite internet.
I've said a lot of words. I feel satiated.
No dangling threads. Well, are there any shows coming up? I'm not sure when I'll release this in the next couple of months. Anything you want to promote in the spring?
I mean,
know
yeah, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm booking right now and a bunch of stuff coming up, but I, off the top of my head, can't remember when things are happening. I know we're playing at Sierra Nevada at some time.
There's a Life Like Water website? Question mark?
There is a website. It's rather outdated. It needs some work. And we got a, Instagram that also is neglected. But that's the most current thing, and Facebook and all that. But yeah, I mean, if people are interested, you can check us out, social media and all that. And definitely got gigs coming up. Got some stuff locally. Got some stuff out of town. And yeah,
A couple of great albums to listen to
couple
already
albums, yeah.
on any streaming service. Not Spotify though.
It's on
Neglect
there.
Spotify.
But I'm backing away hard from Spotify. So we'll see what happens.
And this will be out soon. I guess by the time anybody's watching this, the song will be out. So
Sweet.
enjoy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been real great. It's been fun. Appreciate the time and the attention to the music, and yeah, creating a space like this for people to share random nerdy thoughts.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
What about you two? Any upcoming things to shout out in spring or messages? I will not let the end of the show be succinct. I'll drag it out.
Yeah, I've actually my winter schedule is pretty slow right now. Don't have a whole lot to promote, but I'm sure there's something.
I know, so I'm like, I don't really want to look at my calendar right now.
Right, sure.
The only way I can keep anything straight is by having a calendar that hangs on the wall.
Yep.
That I physically write on. Otherwise, I'll screw something up.
Yeah.
Hard to mess that up.
Yeah, happens.
Yeah, I don't have anything pressing that I'd like to promote. I'm just working all the time in music and playing with my friends. And I know we're busy in July.
I mean, we got quite a
In
bit
the
of stuff
summer,
coming
we've
up.
got maybe.
Me solo and duo stuff with Charles, and then some trio stuff, and then the full
Yeah.
band stuff. Pretty much starting in March. There's gonna be a lot happening, but yeah,
Cool.
Say I've got like 8 gigs down with you.
at least,
So
yeah.
it's filling up. It'll be good.
Yeah, it's only January, halfway through January. So
There's some good
there's
range.
time.
Yeah.
It's been a long year.
Although it's crazy, people be booking up real quick these days. It's kind of nuts. But
Yeah, way in advance.
yeah. Anyway,
So go out and see live music in and around Asheville, in a certain radius.
that's right.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. I'll chop it right here.